Thanks for being here. Let's connect to our breath. Letting that breath help carry us right into our core, into our heart. And sometimes when I'm beginning practice, the right thing to do, it seems, is just to listen, and then very often the body just it's a bit of a relax or a gear change. To me, it's like getting agreement before proceeding. Let's move into knee pile. I'm going to go right over left to start. And especially on this bottom leg, it's easy to kind of compress and kind of flatten out the foot. I'm going to hook like that littlest toe is hooking up the earth, the mat. And inhaling, reach the arms out to the side for eagle. Exhale, left over right. Just link up. And here, as I gently draw the shoulders down, I'm feeling for an effortless elongation or softness through the neck. And under the skull bones. Now moving into a neck release, we'll undo the hands, the arms. And I'm going to open this up just for a variety of motion here. I'm moving into shoelace. I'm just sliding my right ankle over and reaching my left arm out. So my left hand's about a foot from the ground. I'm breathing into the upper back bones, under the shoulder blade. My aim with this, at least personally, intentionally, is really simple. And that I'm just letting each breath communicate a loving gesture in and through the cells of the body. Something that came up in a conversation very recently, and I'm going to just come upright and switch sides and continue. In conversation, it came up. So I'm left over right knee pile, and the eagle, when I hook, will be right over left. Is that when it comes to inner dialogue or self-talk, I like to presume that my cells hear everything that's being spoken about them. So, maintaining that inner dialogue as if every cell in your body hears the conversation, understands the conversation. So for me, there is no room, no room whatsoever for down-talking this exquisite and miraculous body. Not only does it not deserve bad or ill talk, but it is deserving of sweet conversational breaths. So really, I'm just using these moments to have a sweet conversation with body. Letting each breath be a gesture of kindness, a touch of intimate kindness. Inhale, unwind. I'm going to shift over into that shoelace for that neck release. So I reach that right hand out. My inner tone or dialogue doesn't want to go to, oh, that's so tight, but rather, wow, feel this breath with the neck. What a treat. What a miracle. Gestures matter. And then come upright, uncross the legs. I'm going to set up for some Dolphin prelude. So I'm going to stay on elbows and knees. And if you require a little extra padding, this is that one. Some people like a little extra padding. So I clasp hands, and I'm elevating the hands about 6 or 8 inches off the ground, separating knees mat width and stepping them back a little bit. And I'm just very gently shifting the sit bones back. Letting each breath occur to the shoulders and the ribs as a sweet gesture. Intimate kindness. I'm going to do this abdominal quote-unquote work right here. So in order to speak intimately with the abdomen, I'm just going to start kind of recruiting low abdomen in that exhalation. So just very gently drawing the belly in, back toward the spine, and letting that exhalation with the low belly start to refer me to other areas in the back and the diaphragm and the guts. And to exit, I'm going to shift body forward, reset knees under hips. I'm going to make a very simple switch to easy twisting lunge by inhaling the right foot forward, leaving the left hand down, and drawing the right arm up. And inhaling, bring the right hand down. Now step the left foot forward, arrive at standing. And here I'm going to do one round of Uddiyana. So with the hands on the thighs, And just really space out this breath work or abdominal work. Inhale into the abdomen, the low back. And swiftly exhaling out mouth. Remain empty, lower chin. Draw the belly in and back and up. And release. Okay. I'm going to turn so my stance can grow the length of the mat. And then interlacing hands behind back. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhaling, fold forward. And inhaling, hands down. Release. I'm going to step that to the other side. So I think it's making my left foot the forward foot. So I set the right knee down. Easy twisting lunge. The other side. So my right hand down. Inhale, left arm skyward. And exhaling, pressing or lifting the left set of arm bones away from that right shoulder. Inhaling the left hand down, stepping the right foot forward, and here's a second round from standing, Uddiyana. So exhale everything out. And then remaining empty, drawing the belly in, back, and up. And of course, releasing when you need that breath. I'm going to make some just really simple switches. So, having released, we started right foot forward. I'm just going to step that left foot back. Pyramid. So you can use blocks to prop the hand higher. With my pyramid today, there's a very specific muscle I'm using to help open up some of the back of the leg. And generally, if our right hand were to grab the thigh above the knee, just in the most, right? It's right where my thumb is, that muscle. I'm going to engage or contract. I'm actually going to leave my hand above my knee because sometimes that muscle gets a little, sometimes it's challenging to contract. So I'm just going to keep a little touch on it so I can keep feeling the contraction. Now as we keep folding, sometimes holding that contraction, it'll fade, so I just have to teach it how to turn on again. And keep it on. I'm going to just kind of push, massage, keep contracting it, keep contracting it. And release. Bending the right knee, step the left foot back, easy, twisting warrior. So my left hand is down, inhale the right arm up. And inhale, hands to ground. Exhale, downward dog. I'm going to hang out in this downward dog for several breaths. We haven't done any dolphin, any of the usuals, which is kind of nice. Kind of a nice departure. And here I'm just starting to gently contract the tricep. So in the same way I was using a very specific muscle to straighten the knee, here I'm using this very specific upper arm muscles to extend or straighten the elbow. All right, pyramid. Inhale, and step the left foot forward. And if I, in my most natural way, just kind of grab the thigh, the left thigh above the knee, it's right where my thumb is. And so that's the muscle. It's a little on the inside and above the knee. I'm going to just keep a little hand pressure on that muscle until I can kind of teach it, connect to it. So there's this wonderful, consistent contraction. You'll feel how when you contract that, your kneecap actually moves a little bit. Okay. And you'll feel as you keep that contracted and you fold, it may get you into some other back of leg territory. And releasing for easy twisting warrior. So left knee bends. Stepping the right foot back several inches, about 8 or so. With the right hand down, inhale the left arm up. And from here, having this nice wide tripod base, I can reach back. And inhaling, when I bring that left hand down. I'm going to press out and again move into a long stance, a wide neutral stance. And from here, I'm going to start to walk my feet out into splits. Now, the difference with the splits is I'm going to play around with those contractions just above each knee, and it's on the inside of the knee. So at various stages of my walking out, I'm just going to feel if I can contract those muscles. It should inform the splits in kind of a cool way. Just every so many steps, I'm just going to pause and just feel for those contractions in both sides. Sometimes what people discover is it actually illuminates some differences in the hip sockets. And so if one side feels differently mobile or differently free, I might just hang out with those thigh muscle contractions. It's not the easiest thing to maintain those contractions, but it sure can be invigorating. I may not go as deep in the splits, but getting that muscle to contract is really doing some nice things in those groin area and hamstring, those thigh muscles. And inhaling and walk those feet back together. I'm going to set those knees down. Legs get a rest. I'm setting it for Dolphin. Were you able to get that contraction in there? It's a warmer. No. So I'm setting up for Dolphin. So I'm playing around with this very specific muscle as it seems to pertain a lot to the knee and the groin and the ankle. So I'm going to find it, maybe, in my Dolphin. So I've got my forearms down. And then on exhale, we'll press the knees off the ground. Gently set knees down. I can get a little bit of twist, a little more fold going. With my block, I'm going to I'm going to get into a revolved pyramid. So inhaling, step that right foot forward. Press the knees up. And I'm going left hand down to the block. Right arm reaches skyward. So all these straight-legged stances, I'm just taking the opportunity to work this very specific muscle contraction that can help really turn on the legs. And if you are getting that mind-muscle connection stoked, it's probably getting a little bit of warmth and deeper breath going, maybe. Be kind of cool and interesting. And inhale, bring that right hand down, exhaling chaturanga. Let's step right foot back and lower, all the way down. Cobra. Inhale, pull the chest forward. Exhaling, downward dog. Revolved pyramid. Inhale, left foot forward. And so here I'm using the block for my right hand, finding those muscle contractions. A little acronym is VMO. But just above the knee and to the inner leg side of the knee. Drawing the left arm up. And people have had a lot of like knee surgeries. It becomes a really interesting muscle in connection with rehabbing the knee and kind of just rediscovering that knee joint. Inhale, bringing left hand down, both hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. All right, so Crystal, I'm going to set the knees down. I'm going to go through a short seated series, and then I think that'll just feel like a good amount of morning. So here's what I've got in store. I'm going to set my left leg out and get my strap nearby. Maybe something for my knee. It's like I'm packing for a camping trip. Get all my things together. All right. So I'm going to just start with my right heel near groin, knees set widely. And my right hand reach around, latch on to this inner left thigh. Now, the clothing isn't very grabbable. I'll just use a little strap. So I'm using that right hand to turn the chest. It's almost like I'm sitting in half splits. When I turn the chest, my pelvis kind of shifts a little bit. Already we might feel a new area in that inner left groin. And then if we combine that with that muscle contraction that's right there, well, that's an interesting groin knee find. Okay. I'll just set that left hand down, but I'm going to keep working that contraction and that connection to that inner left hip. And for me, it also is in the foot. That contraction has a lot to do with the ankle and the fascia of the sole of the foot. Now this is convenient. It's just a little detail. Because I have my hand down on the ground, I use my left elbow, and I can actually push right into that muscle and contract the muscle right against my elbow. That's actually really nice. And I recommend, like, if you can get that contraction and that deep breath, holding that contraction, opening up the chest, that's a lot of mind-body connection to get going. And release the hand, that is. Okay. I'm going to adjust this. And I'm making it very friendly on my knee. So right ankle, almost like a half of a shoelace. I'm going to stack my right ankle on my left thigh. And here's where you might like using a little wedge of blanket or such. So I'm folding forward. Some people will actually use a strap just to kind of latch onto their foot to give them length. I'm going to do that. When I loop the foot, it gives me a good something, a nice tactile something to press to engage my foot against. I'm still working that contraction in the left knee. And the other little detail that I'm doing is as I keep this muscle contracted, because I have a loop on my foot, I'm going to keep that inner knee contracted as I push the forefoot forward and pull the forefoot back. So as my ankle moves, I'm keeping that knee muscle contracted. Sounds simple, but if you've got the props all happening, it's actually quite a nice bit of ankle work. All right, I'm going to release. And switch out for the other side. And the hope is just getting these contractions around the knee actually helps the back of the leg and the knee feel really good. So nothing should feel weird or questionable. So now I'm setting the right leg out. I've got my left heel in. The left hand, reach behind back. Grab onto thigh or clothing. Okay. Now, here's that right VMO, that right muscle just above the knee and just to the inside. Sometimes they call it a teardrop because when you look at the little picture, it's just like a little bloop. It's that big. Okay. And so as I get that little teardrop inner thigh knee muscle engaged, kind of turning the chest, setting that right hand down. The move we always do, but with that extra little muscle contraction, like a brand new move. And when I release, you do that one other item. So it's like a half shoelace. So I'm setting my left ankle over my right thigh, supporting that left thigh. And I'll be using a strap around my foot. Getting that muscle contraction, connecting to breath, letting all of these gestures, the contractions, the breath, the contact, letting these all be really sweet communications. I'm presuming every cell in my body not only hears how I'm dialoguing with it or at it or toward it, but can feel the intention of every movement, every gesture. Whether it's benign or and this is a detail, you don't have to do it, but it's a really fascinating study in that mind-muscle connection is I'm keeping that thigh muscle contracted, and I'm letting the strap pull the foot back, and then I push the forefoot forward, keeping that muscle contracted as I pull the forefoot back. And release. All right. So if we were getting all of the quad contracted this whole time, I suspect those legs are ready for, almost ready for Shavasana. I can do one final item here. And separate legs into a seated straddle splits. And I'm gonna make this a really just easy, moderate. Nothing too stretchy. And again, I'm letting the contractions right here just kind of let me or inform my splits, my fold. I'm actually doing this without my hands, just because I want to exhibit a great deal of finesse and actually control in a very smooth way my trunk folding down. So this is really different work than just kind of throwing your hands forward and just like laying down. Like by keeping these muscles contracted, I'm not using my hands to fold forward. That's just all coming from that deep groin and hip. That's a very different move. All right. Having exited, and I help those legs together with hands, please, with hands. And let's lie back, taking a short Shavasana. That's here in our Shavasana. We might start to read and learn what all that leg engagement, what that does in the sacrum and the pelvis, the knee, the ankle. All right. And then starting to move on bend knees. Turn to a side.